Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? Good. It's a little bit of background noise you might have noticed. Okay. Thanks for coming and filling up the space. Always feels nice at such a big show to have an audience. I'm Mike McGrail. I'm the marketing director at Training and Learning Development and Delivery Software Administrate. And I'm not going to talk about systems today or delivering training. What I'm going to be talking about is social media in 2016 and how, if you're using social media for marketing your business, you should be approaching it this year. So hopefully you find it interesting. Just a quick bit of stuff about Administrate. What is it? We're a cloud-based learning and training management delivery system completely in the cloud. We have 3 products: Core, LMS, and our web integration, i.e. we can integrate with any website. If you'd like to know more, come by stand number B6. B6. And actually, it's just over there. Ashton, hi. So once you've finished speaking to me, go and speak to those guys and they will tell you much more about the system. I need to take you back to 2011 to paint the story a little bit. So in 2011, Charlie Sheen went a bit crazy and we all watched that happening via the medium of social media. And it was quite staggering to see the man's fall from grace. And if it hadn't been for Twitter, he probably would still have his job. On a more serious note, the Arab Spring, it showed us the power of social media for citizen journalism and making a stand. And then one of the crazes was that planks all over the world, well, they planked. And they showed us how zany they were planking via social media. So, 2011, some things that we saw unfolding on social media. If you were using social media for marketing back in 2011, things were a lot easier. Likes, shares, and retweets roamed the streets just looking for your content to latch themselves onto. Edinburgh Castle, we're based in Edinburgh. They were just there, so we spent a lot of time thinking about the content we're going to put out on social media, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. We want people interacting with that. We want people taking action on it. And it was a lot easier then. It wasn't as busy, and this hadn't happened. The reach monster had not come along and started gobbling all those little guys up. So, one of the problems we now face, and I'm going to show you on this highly significantly scientific, that was a mouthful, significantly scientific, twice, graph of how organic reach, now organic reach is when we put something out on social media, how many people it reaches without us paying for it. I'm going to show you in a scientific manner how that has dropped. Pretty much like this since 2011, taking us up to today, from there to there, which means as people using social media for marketing, it's become increasingly difficult for us to get our word out there. Now, the fact of the matter is that the free social media ride is over. And last year, we saw massive evidence of companies of all shapes and sizes adopting paid social media in order to get their word out there. Getting your word out there is one part of it, but we need people to take an action on it. Inquire for more information about our courses. Book a course. Book themselves on an internal training course as well, because it's an internal tool and an external tool, and we need to think about that. So how do we address the fact that our organic reach has gone down, and why is that the case? Well, if you have a Facebook page for your business, in this day and age, in 2011, the average organic reach of an update you put out there, it would reach around 70% of the people that had decided to be a fan, a big thumbs up for your business on there. So 70% of those people would see your update in amongst the stories of their friends' boring lives, how good your neighbour's holiday is, and stuff from their granny that, let's face it, you do not want to be friends with your granny on Facebook. But your branded stuff was getting in there. Now it's 2.5%. So we could have thousands of people hooked up to our Facebook page, but only 2.5% of those are potentially going to see our update, and potentially is the key. There's no guarantee that their eyeballs are hitting that update without us paying for it. So it's tough. It is very difficult. How do we address that? Well, we have to maintain the organic excellence. So that is great content, speaking to people, not just broadcasting, answering questions, looking for opportunities to engage. whether that's on Twitter, whether that's on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and now, believe it or not, potentially Snapchat, depending on who your target audience is. I was taking a little video of you guys sitting there in eager anticipation. That was for Snapchat. So I'm Snapchatting my whole learning tech experience, and there's about 4 people watching it, but I'm comfortable with that, you know? Okay, anyway, so we need to keep the organic excellence right up there, but we need to adopt paid tactics. This guy, Wes Finley from a company called Coke, you might have heard of them, he made a statement last year. They've got 1 million fans plus on their Facebook page. But he's now saying that if we spend $500 on a Facebook campaign, we can achieve far more than we used to with those 1 million plus people across the globe. So when somebody like that is saying, yep, the game's up the pole, we need to take note. Excuse me. I mentioned organic excellence. Now, Alfa Romeo, a consumer-facing company. I know a lot of you, this won't ring true for in terms of the target market, but this is an example of how you can still delight people and create a nice bit of buzz for your business. So poor Daniel Hancock one day decided that he should go to buy his first Alfa Romeo car. He went to the showroom, he'd spotted one the week before, and he thought, I want that Alfa Romeo Giulietta to be part of my life. Me and Giulietta should be together. Now, it had already been sold by the time he got to the showroom. So he decided to write a poem about how gutted he was that he could not buy that specific Alfa Romeo that day and tweet it to Alfa Romeo UK. Now, Alfa Romeo, a big company, quite often big companies either don't respond on social media or they might say, sorry Daniel, what, there's a load more Alfa Romeos you can buy at the dealership down the road. Horrible. That would be horrible because it's salesy, it's not that nice. We want to warm people up before we hit them with that. So what did Alfa Romeo do? This. They wrote him a love poem from Giulietta. Now, that needs a bit of design work and it needs a good copywriter to come up with the poem, yeah? But actually, in terms of cost, it's maybe an hour to 2 hours of somebody's work. Tweeted it back to him, and then there's a little punchy bit at the end. Don't know if my laser works. Yay! She's only $199 per month, 0 APR. I'm a bit shaky. So there's a little sales bit in there, but it's lovely. Why did I notice that? Because it spread like wildfire across Twitter. Alfa Romeo's only investment in that was a couple of hours coming up with the idea and writing it. Cool stuff. Okay, so that's the organic excellence I'm talking about. This year, you need to focus on custom audiences. Quick show of hands, within your businesses, I know a lot of you maybe aren't even from the marketing and comms department, but how many people are using social media as a way of communicating and marketing? Okay, quite a few. So, a custom audience is something you need to think about for this year. So in Facebook and Twitter, we can just pay for an ad and we can loosely target it. So we might want to target people who are tweeting about studying a professional course, and we can put an ad out in front of them. But even though they might be interested in taking an MBA, for example, they're still they're quite a cold, what we would term as a lead. A custom audience allows you to do certain things. You can target via email lists. So, if you are building an email database, which you all should be, even though people say email is dead, especially in the mobile age, email is a nice disruptive thing because people still go to email and it tends to be pushed through to your phone. So you're not needing them to go somewhere. If you have an email list, you can take that email list and upload it into Facebook and Twitter and then target the people on your email list via Facebook and Twitter. So they must already know about your company because they're on the email list. So we're already interested in the fact that we know the company, so they're that little bit warmer when they get that ad on Facebook or Twitter. So email lists. Be careful though, because if they have not opted in to being marketed outside of that email, you're going to end up in court and you're going to be hunting me down, and I don't actually live in Edinburgh. Excuse me. Site visitors. Now this is one I really like. Facebook and Twitter will give you a pixel that you can install on all of the pages on your website, and then it will track the people that go on your website and then target them with an ad through Facebook and Twitter. Nice. They're warm, they're interested. Just bear in mind that they probably at least know your company's name. So don't go, hi, we are company X. Give them a bit more. Give them something of value. Give them a bit of content, for example. A lookalike audience is something you can build within Facebook. I just want to address something about Facebook, actually. A lot of people say Facebook is only a B2C, business-to-consumer platform. It shouldn't really be used for getting to people that you need to buy from your business in a business-to-business setting. Without wanting to be rude, that's bollocks. People use Facebook, okay? No matter what area of the industry they're in, everyone's a consumer in some way, shape, or form. Lookalike audience will take either your site visits and your email or your email list and scan through Facebook and say, well, actually, we've got X amount of people that match that profile, so why don't you market to them too? So that's extending your reach through the platform based on the people that you're already marketing to and who are within your target market. Sounds pretty good to me. Twitter allows you to target via mobile numbers because a lot of people are registered on Twitter with their mobile number. Now, you'll notice I've not mentioned LinkedIn much in these above points, purely because you need to get on a program with LinkedIn called Lead Accelerator in order to use that type of functionality within LinkedIn. You just need to apply to it, you'll get a sales call and that type of thing. So they are some of the key functions. Out with the standard stuff there, if you're going to say, we need to do something in social media this year, they're the ones to focus on, because it's going to be the warmest leads and it's going to have the best return on any investment you make. But before we do any of that stuff, with anything in marketing or in business, we need to think, what is the desired outcome of this? Why are we doing this? Do we need to increase our customer base in a certain geographical location? Are we launching a new course and we need to open that up to people that might not have heard about us or that course in the past? What can we afford to spend? Now, one of the good things with all of these systems is when you plug in your data and who you want to target, it's going to give you an estimation of what it's going to cost you. So we can say, well, that might cost me £2,000 in March, but as long as that converts to X amount of business, we're happy. And what, spend and comfort, they sit hand in hand. What are we comfortable spending? And ultimately, what value is this going to bring to the business? Anybody that works in marketing will know that you get a lot of pressure from various areas to make every penny go as far as it can. As it should, don't get me wrong. Then, when we've done all that nice strategy and tactic work, we need to test things. And with most online advertising, you can switch it on and off when you want. You can reduce what you pay, you can increase what you pay. So come up with some campaigns, get them out there, and see what the reaction is to them. And then say, those ads weren't getting the clicks. If they're not getting the clicks, the ad's probably not hitting home. When people do click, what's happening on the site? Did we want them to sign up for an email newsletter? Then, that just threw me. Guys throwing business cards everywhere. Did they sign up for the email newsletter? Brilliant. The LinkedIn ad we ran nailed 75% of those sign-ups. Take that money from elsewhere and chuck it into LinkedIn. You get the picture. So test. Test, and it only has to even be small pieces of money to give you enough data. Small pieces of money wasn't the right term. I don't mean 5p's. They are small pieces of money. I mean small sums of money. We need to think about the targeting. How much do we know about our target market and how much can the platforms tell us about that? Copy and imagery are so important. Please do not use a yucky, horrible stock image of a guy sitting at his computer like, I'm learning right now, I'm awesome. No, it's not going to work. It turns people off immediately, okay? And you need to run multiple ads within a campaign. So we might have a campaign that's looking to drive people to the newsletter sign-up page, but don't just have one ad running within that campaign. Have multiple ads, test different copy, test different imagery, but not cheesy American stock images, please. That's nothing against America, it's against the stock images. What content are we driving people to? You're going to struggle if all you're doing is saying, sign up for our email newsletter to find out the best training tips for your business, and then they land on this email sign-up page, and there's not a lot within that. You're going to kind of drop off. You need to be content-led. So e-books, great blog posts, video. Try and drive people through to landing pages that include more value, and then try and get them with that punch, get them to sign up. What are the results? Cut out the rubbish and improve, and I've already covered that. Some simple rules to follow. Respect the feed. Nobody that uses social media wants marketed to. Fact. They absolutely hate it. Every time that a platform launches advertising, like Instagram opened up Instagram advertising to every company last year, the revolt against it is massive. People don't really realize that to run something like Instagram or Facebook, funnily enough, takes a lot of money, and they need to make money at some point in time. One of your key things must be to make your advertising as relevant as possibly can be, because then you might be welcome in that feed. If you're pushing stuff out that is completely irrelevant to people, then it's going to turn them cold. So respect the feed, don't over-advertise, use nice imagery, nice copy, so on and so forth. Keep it simple. Like, don't overdo things. The shorter the copy, the better usually. So don't just keep things simple, especially in the early phase. Just test small campaigns. Here's an example. This is an ad that popped up on my Facebook feed a couple of months back, and it's for a wallet. Now I saw this ad and it caught my eye. I'm reading the copy and I'm going, you know, you're right, I've never seen a wallet like this before. What it does, is it insane? Maybe bigging themselves up a wee bit. I'm not sure any wallet's insane, but the fact is, it gets the intrigue. Now, if we look at the response here, 7.6 thousand likes, that's pretty solid. Those likes mean nothing, really, because what we want is people clicking through and buying the wallet. 892 comments, that's interesting. That's something we're striving for more than a like. But a share is awesome, because I talked about organic reach dropping off. If people share your ad, then organic reach goes much further and much wider. And for 2.7 thousand people to share that is a nice bonus on top of what you paid Facebook. So, something I meant to add in here and I've forgotten. About half of these comments were from people that already have the wallet and said, this is brilliant, this is insane, this wallet, buy one. So you've got your customers advocating for you for free, which is pretty cool. Aim to add value via content. I said that already, but think content first. 3 rules for content. It should either help, entertain, or educate, or all 3 at once. Give people utility. Make their jobs easier. Make them be able to impress their bosses easier by saying, I read these 5 great tips from that company and I've learned something that I think we should implement as a business. Of course, with the underlying tones of, we can actually help you do that with our software, with our courses, so on and so forth. Entertaining is good. Some people might think we can't be entertaining because we're a dry business. Well, there's got to be some way of twisting it, surely. And educate, we're all about education. Use the tools properly. These systems are not that complicated to work out if you sit down and take the time to work them out. If you don't do that, it's up there on a travesty scale of a man wearing Crocs, a grown man wearing Crocs. Not having that, sorry if there's any Croc lovers here, or anyone from Crocs Inc. And have a clean forward path. Make it simple from the ads click for people to know where you need to get them to, or where you want to be. Here's an example. Sorry if anybody's from Brightroll, but I got this ad on LinkedIn, and I did quite fancy reading the white paper they were advertising. One big problem, I clicked the link, and unlike this guy Edward, the link didn't work. I mean, come on. That is desperately poor. I went back to see if it would work, and it did. And when I clicked, I got this horrible big form. There's too much being asked there. I am not going to give that company that much data just to get a white paper. You could get away with first name, last name, and business email. That's what we really need. We need the email. We don't need the rest at this point in time. People are going to bounce straight out of there because they're just not interested. Message. We're all about a message. I got this last week. Louis van Gaal, Man United. The leader builds a team and the team builds a leader. Man United are so poor right now that the leadership is clearly, sadly, lacking. The press are saying it, the players are saying it, and this NCL, who are a sponsor of Man United, they decide to go and put out this ad. And what are they saying in the comments? Van Gaal out, blah, blah, blah. Man United are rubbish. I'm a Man City fan. Oh my God. Now, NCL should be monitoring this advert for its effectiveness and also the reaction. That should be shut down and ripped out the system immediately. And that's one thing I've yet to say. Social media ads, the clue is in the social part. People will respond. And if you're not watching for feedback or questions, you're not serving those people properly. So think about that. That is the end of my talk. I've got time for Q&A. Just to wrap up, blend brilliant organic work with great paid work. Try retargeting, email lists, pixels, lookalike audiences. Why are we doing this test? Adapt and win. Thank you very much. Any questions? I just want to get nobody leave. I want a photo of this busy room. It's my social media proof. Smile, wave, smile. Nice, thanks. So, drop in behind you there. Go and speak to Ashton and Richard. They're waving over there. We'll tell you more about our brilliant system. And if you want to have a chat with me, I'm going to be over there too. Thanks very much, guys.